Welcome back to Talk Tottenham. Big breaking news, and it's bad news as Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie are out for Spurs against Wolves on Saturday. Udogie has picked up a slight knock, whilst Pedro Porro has picked up a muscular strain. Even though they're both ruled out for this weekend, and it's hopeful that they both could be back for our match after, which is against Crystal Palace, and we have an extra 2 weeks to prepare for that. Other breaking bad news, Fraser Forster has fractured his foot. He'll be out for a couple of months, and although he wasn't playing, with Vicario the undoubted first choice in goal for Spurs, it does leave us weaker on the bench, and even more now, we need Vicario to stay fit until the end of the season. Our other options we have in goal, most likely Brandon Austin will step up as the backup. And we also have Alfie Whiteman, who suffered an injury during pre-season, who's now back in training. Other than that, we still have Ryan Sessegnon and Giovanni Lo Celso. They're both not going to be involved in this match, according to Ange. They're both back in full training after their injuries, but Ange wants to be really careful with these two. They both have an injury history that's really not good. Sessegnon especially only came back for one game after a long time out and then had a few more issues. Lo Celso as well has had a checkered injury past, so Spurs want to be very careful with these two. And especially given the fact that there's an extra 2 weeks after this match, they want to give them more time to make sure when they do come back, they stay back. Other than that, there is Manor Solomon, who's still out injured. We were hoping he'd be back sooner. He then couldn't fully recover, and Spurs decided to undergo a further operation, so he's now still in rehab from that op. Other than that, young centre-back Alfie Dorrington is still out for a few weeks, injured too. So, on to the predicted 11. In goal, even more undisputably, is Vicario in goal, and we expect to see Brandon Austin on the bench. In defence, a lot of fans are calling to see Dragusin this weekend. Andrew said he's really impressed in training. So let's see if and how he plays. Ange could go to a back three. He's played that previously with Australia. However, that would require really attacking wing backs. And with Porro and Udogie out, we simply don't have them as options there. And our other fullback options, with Sessegnon also out, are Emerson and Davis, not the most attacking wing backs you could select there. So I think it's unlikely, and at this stage in the season, we'll switch to a different formation completely. So away Dragusin could be brought into the team. He can play at left back. He's extremely fast, and he could play at left back with Dragusin playing with Romero at centre back, and that could be a way to combat Wolves' biggest threat, who's Pedro Neto on the right-hand side. However, I'm still going for Emerson at right back and Davis at left back. They are orthodox fullbacks, and yes, they might not be as adventurous or exciting as Pedro Porro or Destiny Udogie, but they are solid defensively. We've had to rely upon them a lot to play out of position this season, and they really haven't let us down. So I would expect a back four of Emerson, Romero, Van de Ven and Davis. We are very short on the options on the bench now defensively. Last match we had Emerson, Dragusin and Davis to call upon on the bench. And if you add to that now that the two fullbacks, the first choice ones are out, and we're missing Sessegnon and we're missing Dorrington, our bench of senior defensive options, if that's the back four he goes for, would just be Dragusin. So on to midfield. It's a tight call in midfield. Surely Maddison will keep his role as the 10. I think Pape Sarr deserves to keep his role as the box-to-box 8. He scored in our last match. He's been so consistent for us. And I think his energy will be needed against this Wolves side. So who's going to play in the 6 is the big question. Last match, he went for Bentancur in that role with Bissouma coming off the bench. Bissouma had just travelled back from AFCON, so I think Bissouma is even more likely to start ahead of Bentancur this time, and I'm going to go for Yves to play there and make up Ange's original midfield 3 we started the season. It also would give Bentancur a bit of a break. He did rush back from injury for us to help us out, so maybe some minutes off the bench and then a 2-week break will do him good. Of course, we've also still got Højbjerg and Skip to call upon there off the bench. And now to the front 3. Surely we'll see the return now of Son Heung-min to our starting 11, most likely from the left-hand side, as Richarlison's done such a brilliant job as our central striker, especially in Son's absence. So those 2 positions for me are locks. It's just who plays on that right-hand side. Ange went for Kulusevski last game. He hasn't been in the best of form that we expect from Decky, but he did have some really nice moments during that game, even if the performance maybe wasn't as good stretched across the whole match. And his replacement, Brennan Johnson, on that right-hand side, did come on and score the winning goal. I'm still going to go with Kulusevski to start, but it is either way great to see that we're going to have some nice attacking options off the bench. Maybe in this match, the subs will be people like Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner. Of course, with Manor Solomon still yet to come back. What do you all think? Who do you think Ange's going to go for, and who would you start? Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and as always, come on you Spurs.